are United by Rice. I'm Junko Goda, and I'm here with Ben Lee. How you doing, Ben?
Good, Junko. How are you?
Not bad. LA's, thankfully, we're in the pre-summerness, so it's nice and comfortable. It's not too hot. At least, I live in the South Bay, so I'm not in the middle of the city. I am the city of LA. I'm just a little bit south of it. So we have little microclimates, and I am in the perfect temperature until it gets stupid hot.
Is
Yeah.
there an actual bay? I've heard you say South Bay a couple times, but I know where the general vicinity is you live, and I think of an ocean on the left, but I don't think of a bay anywhere.
Yeah, if you go straight to the west, actually it's been in the news here. So there's an area called Rancho Palos Verdes. It's a
Hmm.
big yeah, sort of a hill. Yeah, a mountainous hill. And that area kind of does jut into the ocean, so that creates a bay. However, that area has been experiencing a lot of landslides,
Mm.
and apparently the land is changing so much that we already have new coastline around there.
Well, that doesn't sound good after everything LA's been through.
Yeah, well, yeah, their issues I think started about 2 years ago. So a lot of like
Okay.
houses getting swept up into landslides and stuff. So
Oops.
yeah. Anything
Yikes.
new with you? Anything you've seen?
Oh boy, what have I watched recently? Actually, I haven't finished, and I may actually just start over because I was really enjoying it, but I fell asleep because I started it way too late in the evening. Nothing to do with the quality of the production or movie, I promise, but
Yeah.
I had never actually watched The Brutalist, and I noticed it actually came on. I don't know if it's on Max or HBO or Peacock, one of the networks that I subscribe to, and I've been wanting to watch it. I just didn't know that I didn't really want to go to the theater and do the 3.5 hour plus intermission
Right.
thing. Um, but I started watching that, so I'm looking forward to finishing that. As far as new TV series or anything, nothing that nothing actually that I have watched recently. I'm kind of waiting for all
All
the
right.
new June shows to pop
Yep.
up. Like everything, as we've talked about before, everything I've watched tends to be a little bit of research for, a guest or a series of guests that I'm going to be talking to.
That's true. Yeah. Let's see.
How about you?
Let's see. Um, oh, yeah, I had recently actually interpreted for a documentarian
Mm,
out of Japan. Again, this is kicking it back to my one of my other jobs being a
yeah.
Japanese English interpreter. Again for American Cinematheque, and yeah, he's a super interesting OG. Like he started doing documentaries in the 60s in Japan.
Mm,
So he had a whole retrospective. It was very eye-opening, as in I guess he's one of the few documentarians to actually put himself into the documentary. He gets so involved
hmm
with his subjects, and I think that's just who he is. But he gets so involved with his subjects that he ends up kind of in the documentary itself.
mm,
Um, but I guess because of that, he's been highly regarded. Like, um, was it? He was documenting the birth of one of his children, kind of thing. And he's not, this is the context of the 60s. He wasn't married to the woman, blah, blah, blah. So, um, yeah, just, and, wasn't it? I believe, yeah, he's part of the Criterion Collection as well.
okay. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
you've said his name or the film's movie in case anybody is interested in what you're
Oh,
talking about.
yeah, Hara. It is Hara Kazuo.
Okay.
And I think his documentary was the Emperor's Naked Army Marches On
Mm,
was on everyone's radar, I think in the last 2 years or so. And he's continued to, I mean, yeah, well, he's like for the last 50 years, he's been a documentary. So he has a
okay.
large body of work. But yeah, he's very chill, almost like Professor like. He's got to a place where he understands he's been doing this for a long time, and it's kind of his turn to teach to
Yeah.
teach people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Renza's got he's feisty tonight.
He is. We'll see if it's people coming in and out. But yeah, yeah. If anyone wants to see what Renzo looks like, look for the Olivia Munn episode.
Yeah, mid
That's it, the
cameo.
footnote.
Yeah. Well, on today's show, and this is one of the guests that I was most excited about having on. Frankly, couldn't believe we were going to have him on when we first started recording. Ronny Chieng, who hopefully everybody knows at this point, but is on The Daily Show, has been in many, many, many shows and films. Him and Jimmy, oh yeah, right? They show up in everything.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Oh, and also Ronnie's stand-up special is on
Yes,
Netflix as of January.
January. Yeah,
Yeah, and oh no, he just finished touring, I
that's
believe.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and if you know, he's so funny. He kind of comes across, and part of his bit, right, is being kind of that angry sounding Asian guy. He's Malaysian, just recently moved permanently to the U.S. and became a citizen, actually. So there were some articles written about that in the media. But he was a fun guest to have on, and he talked. We didn't go into his full, you know, we IMDb
No, yeah.
archive of
Yeah,
shows and
no, no.
appearances he's been on because there's
That's
been
too
so
long.
many. Yes. But he talked a lot about Interior Chinatown that he starred in with Jimmy. That aired, it was a Hulu show. It was a very exciting moment, I think, for me to see a show like that air, right? Because we're still in this post Crazy Rich Asians and keeping fingers crossed that we'll continue to get, basically Asian made, Asian cast shows telling our stories. But, a lot of these do also get canceled, like Warrior, right? Where
Yeah.
you're like,
Yep.
hey, here's this show's doing pretty good. And then all of a sudden you hear news that it's not getting renewed.
Yeah. But at
Um,
least it exists, in the digital era. At least you can, turn on that one app for a
yeah,
month and go and see it. So
sure.
so there's more potential for there to be like a second coming. But in addition to it having so many API actors, and it was just also just on a creative level, Charles Yu was the one who wrote the
Hmm.
original book and was also head of that writer's room. And just the structure of the storytelling, we're not going to give it away because
Yeah,
that is like the whole fun of the show.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, and and it in itself, was groundbreaking, and it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, I think we can give, maybe some, right? Like Jimmy plays the central character, and then Ronnie plays his best friend, and they work together in a stereotypical Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, but that's the whole point.
Um,
Yeah, it starts out that
yeah,
way.
starts out that way. And then Chloe Bennett plays a detective. So you might know Chloe Bennett from her run on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. several years ago. She was Quake or Daisy in that show. Um, and there's definitely, to Junko's point, a kind of meta twist in the show that
Yeah.
I think even Ronnie talked about this, right? It takes a little bit of watching before you can kind of absorb what's happening and really get what's happening. And maybe that's one reason why audiences didn't gravitate to it. But I mean, did you like the show? Did you watch the whole series?
Yeah, I liked it because you really had to earn it as an audience member. You
Hmm.
had to at least be in it for at least 3 episodes. Um, yeah, and maybe that's the challenge of it, where it's not like spoon fed. It's not popcorn, easy TV, but it's
Hmm.
very satisfying once you're in on the structure and once you're in on what Charles Yu is trying to say.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
And obviously with those two guys, it is funny, right? So even though
Oh
there's
my God.
this serious meta side to it, it laugh out loud funny, not just the two
Yeah,
of
I
them, but the
mean,
whole
like,
cast. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Ronnie's character, like, if I could turn him into like a Ronnie Chew, like, he would, I would,
Yeah.
yeah, he be my backup character. Oh my God, it's just, yeah, like Ronnie embodies the satisfaction of everyone wanting to say those lines. Again, I'm not gonna say anything. You just have to watch it for yourself.
Maybe again, maybe I'm the one who is spoiling too much, but in the series, one of my favorite bits is that he ends up becoming like a tourist attraction at the restaurant because he's the angry Asian guy, and people think it's like the soup Nazi, right? He's like, oh, Ronnie's going to tell us what to order, and he's not going to take any stupid comments from non-Chinese customers, right? So I loved it. I thought it was a great show, and he was very proud of it. I mean, we brought it up, I think minimally, but he wanted to keep talking about it. And so, to Junko's point, it is still available. Go watch it, and who knows, maybe there will be another life to that show someday.
Yeah, you never know. You never know, especially
Yep.
these days.
Is there any other work that he's done that stands out to you, or favorite moments, favorite lines from his time, either as a comedian or in any of the appearances he's made?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm realizing what kind of sound signature that Ronnie has now.
Mhm.
It's very, very obvious. Like I was doing something and I had some random TV show on the background and I snapped up because it was Ronnie's voice and he was playing a little blue toothbrush. I'm like, okay, Ronnie.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned this. Yeah.
Yeah, just like is yeah, so I yeah, it's kind of interesting how recognizable, at least even like
Yeah.
vocally, tonally, that Ronnie take on being angry at something, but in an understandable way.
So let me ask you a serious question then,
Hmm.
because you're right. Like he probably has a lot more voice acting gigs than I've even heard, right? Because he has such a recognizable voice. Do you think there's an element of like Martin Yan can cook going on with Ronnie where people actually want the accent? People want him to voice characters because the accent is strong on top of kind of the angry tone, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. And I think his accent, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, it's not
Um,
stereotypical, right? Because he's not Chinese or Japanese. He's not one of the accents that I think, you know, people necessarily say, oh yeah, that's like the 70s, 80s TV long duck dong type
right.
of
Yeah.
accent that we're going to make fun of,
Yeah,
right?
so from what I understand, which I think, because I also do a lot of dialogue coaching, so I'll teach
Hmm.
actors Japanese dialogue. But even beyond that, kind of taking a step back, what's interesting is really the internet. So Ronnie has mentioned this that he went to YouTube and just like had just American music, rap, hip hop be his reference.
Hmm.
And it's so interesting that people's accents and dialects are no longer about the environment that they live in. It's actually what YouTube that they're watching.
Sure.
Because an actor can, a Japanese speaking actor can be like, okay, I'm going to learn English, except I want an accent and a cadence that sounds like Nicole Kidman, or it could be whoever
Mm.
else. It could be Oprah. It could be Viola Davis. So all of a sudden it's a little bit of a interesting bogey. If for example I have a client come in with an already existing um accent or dialect, um and usually I want to know about that. Like Ronnie's already
Hmm.
coming in, for example, with like, all these internet influences. So it's
That's right.
really interesting because yeah, you can someday like meet a kid who's just like born and raised in San Francisco, but somehow has this like French accent randomly, and it's
Yeah.
because they decided to study it over YouTube.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. No, because he definitely has, I don't know, a little bit of that hip hop street. Like there's something in there, right? Besides
Yeah.
just the fact that he's Malaysian.
Yeah.
He was really generous with his time. But I always find that there's a couple questions that I left on the table. Was there anything that you didn't get to ask?
We actually didn't ask him what's next.
Yeah, but he did tell us that he just, I forget the name of it, so when you listen to the interview, you'll hear it. But when I asked him the question about roles that have stretched him, he talked about
Oh,
a
yeah.
film that he just did that I think is going to come on Peacock. So maybe
Yeah, yeah,
maybe that's
yeah.
not like what he's working on next, but at least that's something that we're going to see next.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it also
Uh,
sounds like he's always testing out new material pretty
hmm.
regularly. He did share with us that, he is on the road at least once every 2 years. And
Hmm.
within that time, for at least a year, like you got to be working on your working on your
Yeah.
sets.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
he's just
yeah.
showing up at random clubs in New York, it sounds like. How cool would that be?
Yeah, and that kind of makes sense come
That
to
is the New
think of
York
it.
comedy scene, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to ask him, but I've thought about this for a couple weeks and was like, should I ask this question? I don't know how to ask this in a way that doesn't come across possibly offensive. It's a little bit
Okay.
like the accent question I just asked you, right? It was, is there still something wrong? And clearly I think there is, but is there still something wrong with how Asian men are represented in TV and film when
Ah,
Jimmy and him are the ones that are getting like endless numbers of parts, but it's not like the Henry Goldings and the like good-looking Asian men, right? It's not, in other words, Asians aren't getting cast as James Bond, but they're getting cast as like the comedic sidekick or comedic lead in some cases, which is great. So I'll take it. But I decided not to ask that question because I didn't know how he would answer that and how he would take that.
yeah, I think that's a different next level, next layer.
Yeah.
As the producer of the short film It's Asian Men, circa 2017. Yes, that is a quite a hot topic.
Is
Uh
that something that I can watch? You've mentioned that before, at
yes.
least to me. I don't know if you mentioned it on the podcast before, but
It's on YouTube. Yeah, just type
okay.
in It's Asian Men. I think you could put in my name.
Okay.
It's like
And
a
what's it?
5 minute
So,
short.
yeah, what is it?
It's just a statement on at that time it was a bunch of us Asian women who were like, "Oh, why is society ratting on Asian men so much?" So then we just sat down and wrote a script called It's Asian Men. Uh
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, it's raining men, it's Asian men.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's just a commentary on it, and um we have four Asian guys who end up taking off their shirt and dancing. So yay.
Is this on
Yeah,
YouTube or
it's on
Pornhub,
YouTube.
Junko?
No, it's on
Okay.
YouTube. And actually, at the time, we got to go into NPR because it was an
Okay.
all female crew. It was
Oh, great.
intentionally. I wanted it
Okay.
that way. Yeah, so we were on NPR. I think NBC Asian America like picked up our story back then, and this is
Mm.
before. Yeah, this was like a year or two before the whole like
Crazy Rich
Asian
Asians
main.
and all that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, we're
Yeah.
way ahead, way ahead.
Yeah. Well, it,
But
it
yet,
doesn't sound
yeah,
like it fixed everything yet.
right, yeah. And to your question, is that the next step?
I think, I
Though,
mean, my opinion, things are way better than they used to be, right? Because now you
absolutely.
see good-looking Asian men, and they may not be a lead, but they're at least in shows, they're portrayed as a good-looking Asian man. They are dating Asian women or even non-Asian women in these shows. So that's progress, right? I mean, you go back 10 years and you wouldn't see that.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago, if there was an Asian guy in a show, he was probably gay too, so that the studio could check two boxes at once, right? And
Right,
fill
right,
that
right.
5%,
Yeah,
6% quota.
yeah.
And, look, like when you're an Asian man like me and like Yul Kwan on Survivor has to be one of your like North Stars, right? That tells you the state of Asian men representation. Hence, I can't wait to watch your short film. Actually, maybe it's time to
Yes.
develop that actually into a longer form narrative, Junka.
Yes, it's basically Asian Magic Mike, so yeah,
Yeah, maybe I
I
don't.
think
Maybe I don't want
yeah.
to watch it.
No, no, you want to watch it. You totally want to watch it. Um, yeah, and I think I might. be bad at figuring out who is handsome and who is not. I'm probably not the best judge of that, but I think that
Well,
it's
now I'm going to put you on the spot.
yeah,
Like,
but
what Asian male actor, and I'm going to limit the limit it to like Western, someone that Western audiences would know.
uh,
What Asian actor would you say
oh
is on
god,
your list of good looking or handsome?
I have I don't know. I haven't really thought of it in a while. And plus there are all these new BTS beauty standards.
That's
Dude,
true.
when I go back to Japan, this wasn't true 5 years ago, but there's a whole I think it started with like men's SPF section, and now it's a whole big section of men's makeup with their foundation and concealer and everything. Yeah, we've come to a different age, so I don't know. I
Yes.
might I might favor uh the current status quo and standards. But I
Interesting.
don't
So
know if I
so so that means you're leaning more toward the K-pop star look than like,
mm.
I don't know, who's a rugged Asian looking guy? I don't know.
Okay, you know what? That's the problem. When you go rugged, that means you're not putting enough time into yourself. If you can't put
Yeah, I
enough
see.
time in yourself, you're not going to put in enough time to other people.
Okay, okay. All right, all
That's
right.
what I'm saying.
We're getting a flavor of your taste. Okay.
Oh yeah, but it kind of shows. It totally shows, and that's what I'm saying. If the the current generation, they're showing up, with beautiful moisturized skin, and you have your rugged guy.
Yeah, yeah. I don't live in LA, but I can tell you in the times that I come down, and especially if I'm attending a Hollywood-like event, I've never been more insecure, Junko, about things like my skin care or where hair is growing on places around my head. It's like these are all new feelings that I didn't have in any other part of my life. So I hear you.
Probably.
I see the trends.
Yeah, so I can't name someone off the top of my head, but I think going back to Ronnie, it is like, I think, let's say, Breakfast Club days, they would have definitely been relegated to the nerd
Hmm.
bubble and never have escaped that. But I think, even with Interior Chinatown, there are moments when both of them kind of have their attractiveness. They have
Hmm.
their little moments. So I think it's just that what is sexy and what is attractive itself is changing. I'd
That's
hope.
right. That's right. Like you wouldn't see Jimmy O Yang and Chloe Bennett depicted as a couple, or recently Ken Choi on 911 and Jennifer Love
Eh,
Hewitt as a couple, right? Like, so
yeah.
again, I think that's progress for sure.
Yeah, and I actually have to Google this really quick as I'm saying, like, this is my new Christmas ritual. Jimmy O Yang's 2021 Netflix Christmas rom-com, which is named Love
Oh,
Hard.
yes.
So I actually told Jimmy
Yes.
this. It's my new thing, is that it's not Christmas until I play Jimmy's Love Hard at least once.
Oh,
Like, that
cute.
kind of kicks off the Christmas season for me, and
Yeah.
there are really nice tender moments, and
Is
like,
it Eliza Dushku? Is that who the actress is? I'm
no, no,
trying to
no,
remember.
no, no, no. It
It's
was another. I'll have
someone
to.
like her. It's one of those like
Uh,
heartthrob CW girls, I think, right?
yeah, 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 sure, yeah, yeah. I'm like, she's quite cute, and no, I don't. No, not in the description. I forgot her name, but
Okay. Okay.
anyway.
Brunette. I know who you're talking about. Cute brunette. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And so I think are coming to a different era where there are ways that, like, the Asian male is, yeah, portrayed like a lot more three-dimensionally, and he's like trying to get the girl, and
Hmm.
yeah, he becomes the character you want to empathize with, and and follow along with the story. So they're just, and because of that, that's how people, I think, seem attractive, because you go along in the journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that is starting to change, and telling these, like, three-dimensional Asian men telling these three-dimensional stories
Yeah.
is what
For
makes
sure.
them attractive. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's great. Well, I'm excited for this new era of Asian masculinity because it really wasn't shown on TV for or TV and film for so many years.
Yeah.
Um, so it's great. Well, um, Ronnie, I think besides what we've seen with Interior Chinatown and The Daily Show and his comedy special, he's got so much going on. He's such a good representative. On The Daily Show, the one thing that I wish I had asked him also was he talked about the interviews, right? And the
Mm.
interview guest that he talked about how that's maybe the least natural part of what he does as typically just doing bits and stand up. But I didn't ask him, why he still does the show right after
Mm.
9 years, because he clearly has a huge career going on. Um, so that's next time we get him, I'd love to know
Oh,
more about why he's still doing it.
I'm gonna guess he's just gonna say because it fits in my schedule. Is
You
I
think
think
so?
is what is he just gonna say?
There's a pragmatism to how he answered questions, right? So I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, just balancing his schedule. I'm just like, but that's what agents are for. And I guess
Yeah.
personal assistants remind you what your schedule is. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah.
with that we can play the interview that we had. It was fun to do the interview with you, Junko, and everybody. Here is Ronnie Chieng.
Hey, we are United by Rice, and I am here with, I'm Junko Goda, and I'm here with Ben Lee.
Hi, Junko, and we have a very special guest, someone that you all know from The Daily Show and many, many, many other things that we've all watched recently. We're joined by Ronny Chieng. Ronnie, thank you for joining
Hey,
us.
Hey,
hey.
Ronnie.
Of course. Well, congrats on another great. I guess we're midway through the season of The Daily Show, but we know that there's a ton of Emmy possibilities. So we want to start there with The Daily Show and really just the big question of how have you kept your sanity through the second Trump administration?
Yeah, because I've also seen you on the John Mulaney show, and then I saw you as a claymation talking
Oh yeah,
something.
yeah. Talking toothbrush.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how's Ronnie's schedule going these days on top of
Oh,
the Trump layer?
I'm okay. Yeah. I'm happy to be working and stuff. So I get to work with a lot of talented people who like they make it fit into my schedule. So
Ah,
it's yeah.
yeah, that's big. That's big. That's good. And you
Yeah.
know what? I have to sneak in a John Mulaney question before we jump into serious daily show stuff. So,
Sure.
how was that episode, the recent John Mulaney episode with Molly Shannon? It looked like chaos. Like, how
Oh.
was that
Yeah,
experience?
I did the show before in when he did everybody in LA.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew how he's trying to. I guess he's trying to um, bring it back to this like um, early Conan, kind of early Letterman, late
Uh,
night vibe, which was very irreverent and kind of almost alternative and silly and bonkers. Um, so I get the references. I mean, this is we never discussed this, so I'm just speculating here. So it's probably if I'd love to confirm this with him, but I think he's trying to bring it back to that kind of mid '90s late show thing, which is what I would watch it when I was a kid. I'd stay up to watch it, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is what the adults are. This is what the adults do." When the
oh.
kids aren't
Yeah,
watching, they
I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't that kid who was wondering what the late night shows were. I wasn't
I
bad.
was that kid. I was watching it all the time, and it was like this is what the adults do when no one's looking and when left to their own devices. And so I'm totally behind the show. I love it. I
Yep.
think it's really funny, and I think it's kind of silly and bonkers, and it's very different, but it's also shot beautifully. And because it's John Mulaney, it has all this it has that kind of sophistication and kind of humor and aesthetic. This really nice aesthetic. So
Yeah. Thanks for and I'm really appreciating you framing it that way because I wasn't that exposed to mid-90s talk show stuff, but I do
oh
remember
man,
it.
I mean, I'm
So,
just
yeah.
speculating. I think that's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah. But he has started, bringing something back that like not Johnny Carson, but that like kind of energy when everyone
Yeah,
was
it's a very
yeah.
specific thing. Again, I'm just speculating because I've never discussed this with him, and I don't think he's mentioned it as far as I know. But I think he's trying to harness that early '90s late night energy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
definitely.
Yeah. Well, going back to the Daily Show, and actually the question I'm going to repeat my question because I'd love to hear it. It's just,
Sure.
it feels like us normal people are told don't listen to the news too much because it's just toxic. So
Oh man.
when you've got to spend so many hours a day consuming that information and trying to find something funny out of it, doesn't it weigh on your shoulders? Doesn't it stress you out?
To be honest, it's I've been covering this version of America for almost 9 years now. So it's all I've known since I got to America. This chaos is all I've known about it. So I'm kind of used to it. And also, furthermore, there is an element of being in an emergency room a little bit where
Yeah.
you keep seeing the car crashes every day, and so you kind of get desensitized to it a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it feels, unfortunately.
So it sounds like
And
you'll be out of job after our current president. Like you just won't have any ideas anymore. Like you won't have
I
a
don't know
president
about,
who's
I
just
don't know about that. I think the Daily Show has kind of like survived 25 years because, yeah, I kind of hear that. I think people think that a lot, that like we need a certain president to make fun of the news. I I don't think that's true, and I think the data proves it. That I mean, the show was going on during the Obama years,
Yeah.
which is
Yep.
arguably some kind of golden age for America.
yeah.
So
Every president is game. Totally.
yeah, that I mean, I think the I mean, what we're doing at the show is satire, and I think satire is kind of making fun of human politics. So as long as there's humans in politics, I think there's always going to be something to satirize. Um, and that's also part of the skill and the job. The skill set is to make fun of it. So, no, I think we could make fun of anything. I mean, I think we're all professionals. But to answer your question, Ben, I don't think I've been a bit desensitized to it. I think at the show we are kind of a little bit desensitized to it. We kind of make fun of stuff as it comes in, and we don't weigh. It doesn't weigh on us emotionally. Otherwise, we couldn't do the job. I don't recommend people live like this. I think this is a very specific, because we're like professional comics, so
Yeah.
we are already naturally a little bit sociopathic.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we kind of, when we see horrible situations, we think of jokes about it, so
Yeah.
we're already geared towards that. I don't recommend normal human beings be like this. I'm just saying that's how we are.
Yeah, I think normal human beings, when you're met with a lot of turmoil and stuff, the first thing we do as humans is laugh, right? When you're in the most awkward, you don't know what to do, we naturally laugh. And I feel like,
I hope so.
yeah, and you guys are just kind of a natural, you're just kind of taking that instinct and making it into a job and making it into a profession where
we also, to Ben's point, there's also, I mean, you could call it mental toughness with being like that, where you don't get, it's not devastating to your psyche when you have to make fun of things every single day. That there's kind of like a mental shield that you build up. So
absolutely.
A question for you on the process of the Daily Show. Now, over the last couple of years, you've been a host as well, or a rotating host.
Yeah.
Do you find, is there any part of the job, because the correspondent work, the comedian work, I feel like probably comes really naturally, but when you're interviewing people, does that part come naturally, or has that been hard to pick up?
It's been hard to pick up. I'm not a great interviewer. I think I've gotten better slowly. It's also very guest dependent.
Mhm.
I kind of get like, if guests don't want to be there, I also kind of shut down a little bit. So um because and also I've been on the press side of it so much, so I kind of get the frustrations of being on that side. So a lot of the frustrations usually come from um uh if the interviewer like isn't prepared, or if the interviewer doesn't want to be there, then me as like the guest, I can feel it, and I kind of get frustrated, and then so me as the interviewer in this situation, I would make sure I prepare, and make sure I try to ask questions that haven't been asked before, and I think most of the time the guests we get, I mean, I feel like they appreciate that a little bit. Sometimes you get people who they just don't want to be there because this is the stop number 10 on their press tour, and they're promoting
Sure.
like a movie, which I love movies, and I probably love get all the guests who come, but like it's a show where we're talking about satire and politics, and then at the end we suddenly have a guest, like someone who's promoting nothing to do with politics. So that sometimes there's a bit of a tone shift.
Yeah.
Right.
Because talking about pretty important serious matters, and then suddenly you're talking about something that's just about pop culture that's not really connected to the politics and satire. So sometimes that happens, but I think in general I get a say in who we book most of the time.
That's good. Yeah.
So which is not bad. Obviously not all the time, but they run it by me to make sure it's someone who I'm comfortable with. And honestly, I just ended up just interviewing a lot of my friends, just because I felt like that would have been the best chemistry for the interview section. So, I mean, if you go back and look at my interview history, a lot of it was just friends. And lately I've been running out of friends, so they've been getting in other people now. And yeah, so yeah, but it is something I've been learning and trying to get better at. But at the same time, there's something inside me which I just can't really pander. So if it's someone who doesn't want to be there, I'm just like, well, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, to your credit, though, I think you do it really well. There was, I can't remember what city or even state, but you had an Asian woman governor or mayor, and it was one of the funniest interviews. Maybe you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, Mayor. I think it was the Boston Mayor Wu.
Yes, Boston. Yes.
Oh yeah, and so like when you get politicians like that, I think it's always kind of a little bit more interesting because you can you try to get them to give a real answer, which I think Mayor Wu did. You try to get them off their talking points a little bit, but it's hard, But that for me, that's more interesting, talking to a Republican like Adam Kinzinger, or a Democrat, and just really quiz them about something very specific that's happening, because they kind of know the inner workings of what we're talking about on the show. So it always feels a little bit more relevant to talk to politicians, but it's hard to get them on the show because a lot of them don't want to be on the show. A lot of Republicans don't want to be on the show. A lot of I would say maybe even Democrats don't want to be on the show because we kind of they know we're going to ask tough questions, I think. I mean,
yeah, and it also depends on their brand, so to speak. Like Newsom is someone who you could see on the Daily Show, but then Mary Wu, you're like, we need to kind of massage her into a Daily Show, or was she like?
Wu? Yeah. Michelle Wu. Yeah, I mean,
Or I mean, Mary Wu, Boston's
Yeah,
mayor.
Boston Mayor Wu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
she reluctant? Like, how do you
No,
still
she was very
won?
cool. I've
Okay.
known her forever. I've been supporting her since her first run.
I was gonna ask, did you have a relationship with her already?
Yeah, I
Oh.
do. I thought she was a cool mayor. And so I brought her on to just talk about Boston and Boston politics. And she was insightful in the interview. I would say she was like,
Well, I'm sure she was like, "Oh, Ronny Chieng just invited me to talk." I'm sure she was very happy.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if she, how much clout I have, but no, I was very grateful that she came on because it's a risk. It's a risk for politicians to come on,
But it's you on the other side of the mic, and that makes a big difference too.
Sure. Well, yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to that. I don't know if that's true, but
we can pander well here.
But I did appreciate her coming on because you want to hear from insiders. Like, hey, what's going on? Are we in trouble or what's what happened? Like, you want to know from them
for sure. Well, if we kind of go backwards in time a little bit, actually, one of your friends who was on, Stephanie Sue, I remember talking to her, or you talking to her on the show, and she said, Ronny, you're in everything. What is your perception of what it means to be an Asian actor now after, especially since Crazy Rich Asians and that era of films that really launched a lot of opportunities for Asians? You feel like you're getting a lot more opportunity. It feels like that.
Yeah, I don't know how it's evolved. I think maybe someone who is a bit more of a legitimate actor might be able to answer that, or someone who's been here since before Crazy Rich Asians. I think like there was kind of like a shift towards maybe we can make Asian projects that can financially succeed on their own. So there was a race to that. And then I think now it's heading towards like, oh, we can't just make Asian American projects for the sake of it. We need to make stuff that's legitimately good and high quality. I think maybe if there's any shift, I feel like it's been to that, where it does. Nobody wants to be part of something that's just going through the motions of representation.
Right.
You want something that's really good. So stuff like beef.
Yep.
Right.
Like beef is high quality and it's so obviously Asian American, but that's not its only gimmick. It's just a great show that happens to not just star Asian people, but like it's woven into the story, right? Like it's so linked to the story. So I think we're heading towards that. I think hopefully. So kind of like increase in quality, I think.
Yeah.
Do you and I don't mean this to put you in a position to be critical, but what then would you say happened with Interior Chinatown? Do you think audiences didn't accept it for a particular reason, or do you think the studio just didn't see enough in it?
I honestly, I don't know. I think I'm very proud of it. And I think everyone involved in it is very proud of it. I think it just speaks to how hard it is. In all honesty, I think it just speaks to how hard it is for projects to catch on. So right. I think that if enough people watched Interior Chinatown, I think it would catch on. We still stand behind that project. I'm trying to think of something I didn't like about it. I mean, it was an ambitious show. It is an ambitious show, so it required a bit of setup and buy-in. But once you buy into what's happening, it's also a show that's hard to market because it's like you can't really market the show without giving away the ending.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Right.
But in hindsight, maybe we should have just given away the ending. Because I mean, I stand by everything on that show. It's just hard to get people to watch stuff with all the competition.
Yeah. But I guess the good thing that it's in the streaming era is that it exists and it's out there, because you never know what next generation kid or like what 13-year-old TikTokers are like, hey, hey, look what I just found. And we're like, we already watched that, kid, but
that's the thing.
you like it now.
Yeah, totally. We're talking, we're kind of talking about it a little bit like it's not there, but it's still there for people to watch.
Yeah.
So I'm actually glad you brought it up, because I hope someone will look at this and go watch it, because it's if you actually think about what it is, it's like, oh man, this is like a truly groundbreaking piece of television here that's shot beautifully. So and I think it did it. I think it did its numbers. It's just it didn't catch on fire culturally. And again, I think that speaks to how difficult it is for any project, for something to get made, to be written, to be directed, to be filmed, to have production value, to be great, and then to have the marketing that catches people's eye on it. I mean, those are like 5 miracles.
It is
One, right? So I think it just speaks to how difficult it is to make TV. I don't think people fully understand how difficult it is.
And absolutely, and I don't think you guys had like a crazy big budget or anything necessarily. You didn't have like network level budgets per se, or was it?
I think we did. Yeah, we did. I think we that show was very expensive.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That show was very expensive. So I mean, to, back to earlier point, like I actually tell people, like, we stand behind Interior Chinatown. I think might be the greatest thing I ever made. And I think, like, if you have no time to watch it or you can't be bothered, I just tell people, like, hey, watch the first episode and the last episode. And if that doesn't draw you in, then fair enough. But like, don't be daunted by the whole series. Like just dive into it. Like any random episode, because it's like it's the ideas it's dealing with are very ambitious. It's a bunch of people who discover that they're in a TV show. I mean, what better TV show is there for peak television?
Yeah, right? It's like never-ending stories, but for adults.
Sure.
And
it's actually closer to Twin Peaks, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, and I ran into Jimmy at Critics' Choice or something, and I remember telling him, look, it means a lot to me to see an Asian guy, have a romantic chemistry with someone that looks like Chloe Bennet. It's like, hey, that's amazing representation, right? You don't see that on TV very often.
And then I love the dialogue shift, the self-awareness, the dawning of the self-awareness happening with him.
When everyone starts becoming, when everyone in the show starts becoming self-aware, not just the Jimmy and me, but like everyone else on the show starts becoming self-aware. That's when it gets really fun. I think that show. So I think we all stand behind it. So I hope people give it a chance. Because it's still there.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And maybe it'll make it to a DVD collection or a Blu-ray collection.
I hope people find it, because it's there hopefully for all time.
Yeah.
What is it that Jimmy got thrown into? It wasn't chili oil, I hope. What did you throw him into?
It was like this. We got the same slime guy who makes the Nickelodeon slime.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's the Nickelodeon slime expert who made customized slime for us for that.
How funny.
Sounds about right.
Amazing.
And that's where all the budget went to. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Probably. I'm trying to think of what else was happening in that show. I mean,
there's a lot.
I think the other thing of that show is that, like, we were making, we weren't just making fun of tropes. We were like satirizing tropes. And I think sometimes it, like, if you don't buy what we're doing, it looks like we're just doing tropes, but actually we're kind of, our intent is we're making fun of these tropes.
That's right.
So that's something else that's kind of difficult to show people, right? I mean, that's how ambitious the idea it is, right? It's not a show that was meant for the lowest common denominator, but it has to be that accessible, right, for everybody, so everyone can buy in. So I think that was the other challenge he was facing.
Yeah. Do you think you can ever, are you just going to live in satire for the rest of your life? Like,
I think so. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to be in satire. Satire is fun.
Yeah.
Well, you made a comment earlier about not being like a real actor, but and maybe that's, I get your point because you're a well-known comedian and people probably cast you a lot to be that angry, funny Asian guy, right? But
Sure.
are there roles that you've taken on recently that you feel like, oh, this is stretching me to become an actor?
And
Yeah, I
then
think that's yeah. I think that I did a toothbrush. I was a claymation toothbrush.
yes, that.
But I think like I definitely that's kind of what I look for in roles now, for sure. Like
Okay.
I just came off of filming Miniature Wife in Toronto. That's on Peacock coming out soon, and I mean, in that role, I think is something that stretches me a little bit outside of the outside my range. So yeah, definitely what I'm looking for. Yes, is getting outside of that. Yeah.
Did that project?
I
Did
mean,
it? Yeah.
not to bring that to Interior Chinatown, but I think that also kind of stretched it beyond. I
Sure.
mean, I can't think of anything the opposite of the asshole rich guy in a suit than poor waiter guy in
Right.
a
Yeah.
waiter outfit. So.
Given the projects that you have in front of you, how do you make time to do stand-up still? And you're wearing a Netflix hat, so I have to ask, when are we going to see another Netflix special?
Yeah, I do stand up every night in New York City. Just working out new stuff, and I just released the Netflix special in January.
Yeah.
So hoping people get behind that one, and then I'm just working on the next one, and I try to like tour once every 2 years just to keep it kind of fresh, not too kind of
Like, yeah.
accessible, and make it a bit of a special event sometimes, and gives me time to work on the material as well. And
Yeah, that's what I really like about your body of work and that you're incorporating that, because I think like I started in the stage, but if I'm away from it too long, you lose that sense of that room and that energy. So I saw you on the tour and I was like, but you're already doing 50 million things, but that's how you do it. I'm like, so I really admire that you still are very intent on scheduling in your tours somewhere once every 2 years.
Sure, yeah. But to me, that's like my main job. So, yeah, I have to do it.
Yeah, but that's the important thing, right? Is that, especially a lot of other Asian American artists, is that, they're like, I have a need to do this. I have to do this. But then a lot of societal stuff is like, well, you also need to, like, be that doctor or lawyer and, achieve. But despite that, you're like, no, screw that. You're like, I have this definite need to go out and perform, and you're still staying, sticking true to it, so that says a lot.
I mean, I'm almost 40 years old now. Like honey,
40's a good age, honey.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that road is truly behind me about, whatever, being a doctor or whatever. Like, I'm truly beyond that path already. So
yeah,
definitely.
But I would definitely say, especially in the 2000s, we were really, as like Asian creatives in the space, that was a big portion of like coming up, I think, in entertainment and Hollywood that we've had to shed. That used to be like a pretty common like go-to, like everyone's immigrant experiences, everyone's, that was a common theme for probably the early 2000s.
Yeah,
that was a pretty common theme. And now I feel, especially, maybe it was that crazy rich Asian, that timing in life, but you come up, everyone else is coming up, and we are now graduating, and we can actually talk about our specific experiences growing up. We not all of us had tiger moms, not all of us, had parents were like, I would love to see like your kids come along and be like, my dad made me do stand up at least once or twice in my life, and it was horrible. I decided to stick with being an animator,
Yeah.
It brings up those possibilities.
I actually talk about that in the special. Yeah.
I actually remember seeing you at the San Jose Improv, tiny little theater, several years ago. Is there more pressure for you now
Wait, when
to?
when was that?
Oh my God, it could have been your first or second. Well, I think associated to one of your special. I can't remember if it was San Francisco or San Jose, but it was local
Roughly
here in
what
the Bay
year?
Area.
Roughly
Yeah, what year?
It had to be at least 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. Maybe it was the second one. I don't know. But that's cool. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, and I will always go. And I think my question is, now that people recognize you a lot more, right? You're a well-known person. Is there more pressure when you're doing stand-up, or that now people are coming and expecting a lot more?
Yeah, I guess. But if you intellectualize it, I feel like the pressure is the same as day one, in terms of like you still have to, even if no one knew who you are, you still have to do a good job. So in that sense, it's actually the same, even if you think it might feel different. So for me, the task is still the same.
Still the same. Yeah.
And also, I think like I do a lot of shows in New York City where I don't think people know or care about who you are. That you just have to kind of
Right.
So I practice in that environment anyway. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We don't like survey the crowd to see who knows who, but in New York City, I usually do like unannounced spots. So I just go in. So meaning no one came to see me, right? And you just go in and you do a spot. So I like to practice under that environment anyway, and I don't assume people know who I am anyway. And I mean, Seinfeld kind of said it, like even if people know who you are, they give you like 15 seconds, and then if you can't do the job on stage, they kind of start turning on you anyway. So
Yeah.
that's
rough. That's a rough world.
So
Stand up.
I guess what I'm saying is it harder? Yes and no. I think yes and no. I think yes, because you have to follow yourself, your previous body of work, and then no, because I think maybe people kind of, if they know you, they might kind of like you, and then they give you a little bit more leeway, right? To try
That's
stuff
true.
or
Sure.
try new stuff, or so yes and no. I think it balances out.
Yeah. Well, we should probably wrap up pretty soon, so we'll end with a couple closing notes. First of all, congrats on becoming a citizen. The 9 years of America you've seen was good enough, apparently, for you to still want.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'm in the club.
Yeah. And then you were also indicted. No, it's not inducted into the Gold House Hall of Fame, which is quite an honor too. So congrats on those.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Sure. Junko, you got a couple last questions?
Yeah, let's do a wrap-up question. So because we're called United by Rice, we always ask this, but what is your favorite rice dish, including rice noodles also count? It could be your dish that you like now. It could be your favorite rice dish that you've liked your entire life.
Oh, my go-to now, I think I just like sushi. Yeah. That's like literally nigiri sushi. I think that's like my go-to now.
Yeah. Well,
any particular types of fish?
Yeah, I like otoro, but I love mackerel. I love the golden eye snapper, yellowtail. So like white fish.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
Love it. Love mackerel. Love
what's
that one?
The hirame, the flounder.
I can do flounder. I can do like all the white fish sushi. I'm down.
Yeah. Totally.
Love a good tamago.
Are you an uni fan?
I love uni. No.
Okay.
Honestly, I could. I kind of stop myself from eating that like every day. I could eat that every day.
I hear you. Me too.
I love the sushi rice, that short grain.
Yeah. And it has rice involved, so that totally counts.
Yeah.
Yay! Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Is that a hacky answer? I guess not.
No, anything works. We don't.
Yeah,
have to be a chill
usually we get
podcast.
rice and soy sauce like that, when you break it down to people, like when you actually think of like your comfort food that you grew up with, it's usually nothing all that sophisticated.
Yeah, totally. I mean, sushi
Yeah.
is kind of just rice and soy sauce, right? I mean, there's
Yeah.
vinegar and all that, but it is a very simple. Yeah,
Yeah.
but something about that white rice, I guess I just came back to it.
Yes, and it has to be like done properly. Yeah, if you talk to like the really really like high end, like the upper level
Yeah.
chefs, they get very very picky about their rice, and they should.
Yeah, we weirdly get really good sushi in America, in New York and LA. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not sure we should be, but because none of this fish is local, right?
I know the tuna. What I've heard is that the best tuna in the world is the tuna.
Tsukiji. It's still
Well, no,
Tsukiji Market, right?
no. I heard Boston. So
Oh, really?
they'll get the tuna in Boston, they'll freeze it. I mean, I think with technology, it's kind of changed because they'll flash freeze everything and then they'll ship it. So I think it's less, it's not like they're still alive and, you have to eat everything. That the whole technology layer has changed where you get things, but it still tastes good. Anyway. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for speaking to me.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
And
Yeah, of course.
good luck on your awards run this week. A lot of,
thank you.
or not this year, this coming season, and
Yeah.
a lot of free dinners and all that fun stuff.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have you on again. Thank you so much, Ronny.
Thanks for coming out to see the show.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Of course.
Bye.